Can't make it up, y'all. All right, here we go. Let's check our first homework. This is page 7. Page 7. Number 2, it says write the first 4 terms of the general sequence. Okay, so on number 2, there is your, I got 1/3, 1/9, 1/27, and 1/84. Number 4, here's the general rule. I plugged it in and I got 5, -6, 7, and -8. Now what I'm going to just give you a little heads up. We've been working a lot on this page and this back page. On Wednesday, when you take your test, you're turning this in. I'm spot checking some problems. I'll choose 10 of them. So I'll give you, last week was crazy in the 9 weeks. I wasn't do that to you last week, but this week was a new beginning. Alright. Number 6. Here's your rule. This one's a little bit more detailed. I plug 1, 2, 3, 4 in. I get 1/3, -1/5, 1/9, and -1/17. Take a moment to look at those 3, see if you have any questions. Alright, are there any questions on those 3? Are we good? Hand signal, we good. Okay, let's move on to 18. A summation. That was a really wrote a lot. I got 110. We're going from 1 to 5, so I had to plug 5 in. 4, 3, 2, 1. I only had to do 7 times 6 here because the 5's cancel out, so I got 42. 6 times 5 is 30 because the 4's cancel out. 5 times 4 is 20. 4 times 3, and then 3 times 2 times 1. So I get 110. You're not going to have a study guide for this test. You just need to study these homework sheets and make sure you know how to work these problems. Let's look at 33. I got 4,400. Do you agree with that? Okay. Did y'all agree with number? Because I did these. Did you agree with number 18? Okay. Number 33. 4,400. Okay. On number 33, it says find the sum of the first 50 terms. Sum of the first 50. So 50 will go here. 50 will go here. The first term is -10, but I got to go to the side and find what a sub 50 is. The first term is -10, n is 50. Now I had to find my common difference. So what I did was I said -6 minus a -10. I found my common difference. I've taken the second one, divided by the first one. Hey, Scotty. Alright. Now number 35 is easier than 33. You want to find the sum of the first 100, but they tell you what that is. They tell you that a sub 100 is 200. So you put that in there and you get 10,100. So by this time, all the front page should be done, correct? I think we did everything on the front page. Okay. Are there any questions on how to find the sum? You're going to get your quiz back tomorrow when we go over it. I'm going to finish grading them today. All right, let's go to the next page. 1 through 15 odd. Let me check in right now while I post attendance. What time's 8th grade getting here today? They're already here. Where are they at?
When I got here, and then first, it was like
In the cafeteria library.
they're like spread out.
I don't know. You got a lot this unit? It's kind of easy, isn't it? Oh, here they come. Speak of the little precious ones. You want me to yell at my microphone? Of course, by the time I sit down, they're going to be coming. All right. Are there any questions on 1 and 2, 1 and 3? 1 and 3 just tells you, what does it? 1 and 3 says, write the first 5 terms of each geometric sequence. It gives you the first one, then the common ratio. So I start with 5 and I multiply by 3. Number 3, I start with 20 and I multiply by 1/2. So I go 20, 10, 5. 5 times 1/2 is 5 halves. 5 halves times a half is 5 fourths. Next it says, find the indicated term. I want to find a sub 8. So a sub 8, the first term is...
I think you did number 6.
I did number 6, didn't I? Missed number 5. Okay. Well, if I did number 6, I did it correctly. Let's go on to number 7. Did you get number 7? Right. A sub 12 is negative 10,240.
Yes.
And number 9, get you something weird in the calculator, didn't you? You get something with E? Well, just put negative 1.82 times 10 to the negative 9. You get that EE, negative 9? Yeah, you can, but I'm not going to give you something like that on the test, but yes. It's in scientific notation. And that means that decimal is so small. So small. All right, number 11 says, find the sum of the first 12 terms of the geometric sequence. Okay, so if we look here, S sub 12, the first term is 2 goes here. 1 minus R, you got to find the common ratio. How do I find the common ratio? 6 divided by 2, which is, I will put 3 here. 3 raised to 12 divided by 1 minus 3. Okay. When you raise 3 to the 12, do you need to include that negative there? No, it would be 3 to the 12, 1 minus that. Does everybody understand that? Make sure you plug that in the calculator. I want you to make sure everybody get that. Did you get it? Is everybody good with that one? Are you sure? I mess up. It is. Lord, Mr. Hester. Lord. Thank you. I don't know why I went. That's why you don't go fast, guys. So, Mr. Hester's made a mistake. 5, 3. Did you get 531,440? Thank you. 531,440. Very good. Thank you, Jim. All right, number 13. Did you get 2,049? Now here, since my common ratio is negative 2, I put that in parentheses. So when I raise this to 11th power, you do need to put that in parentheses. Does everybody understand the difference? And then here at 1 minus negative, that's a double what? Negative. And then number 15 is 8,191.5. Did y'all get that? Mary Catherine, you good?
Yeah, I have a question on the other side.
Okay. Yes, Pascal, go ahead. Number 13. I want you to put in your calculator right now, negative 2 to the 11th. That's where I guarantee you messed up, and retry it, okay? Yes, Mary Catherine.
On number 35, it says the sum of the first line.
You don't get how I set that up there?
Even or natural.
Don't worry about that positive natural. You just do it like regular, okay? It's just telling you, when it says natural, when you start with 1, that's a natural number. That's the first 100. That's positive, even. It's just telling you what numbers are in your set. 2, 4, 6, 8. That doesn't have any effect on it, okay? Okay. All right, guys, while he's doing that, I want you to turn to page 9 in your notes. Now, I gave everybody this to do. You should have that completed, the Pascal's triangle. That activity. That was part of your assignment, was to complete that triangle. If you didn't have one, you need to go, let me give you one, but that needs to be filled in. Because if it's not filled in, you can't do this today. Does anybody need one? Who else needs a Pascal triangle? Okay, check your work. Let's talk about how you get these values. This is Pascal's triangle. It's named after a famous mathematician named Basil Pascal. I think he lived around the time 1800s, and he found this pattern, very special pattern. It starts with 1. Both of these are 1. Now watch this. All these sides are 1s, but this is how you get it. 1 plus 2 is 3. 2 plus 1 is 3. Start with 1. 1 plus 3 is 4. 3 plus 3 is 6. 3 plus 1 is 4. Start with 1. 1 plus 4 is 5. 4 plus 6 is 10. 6 plus 4 is 10. 4 plus 1 is 5. Start with 1. 1 plus 5 is 6. 5 plus 10 is 15. 10 plus 10 is 20. 10 plus 5 is 15. 5 plus 1 is 6. You see how the pattern works. Okay? Now, we're going to need that later on, but right now we're not going to need that, what examples we're doing here. The first learning target we're going to have today is the easy one. I can evaluate a binomial coefficient. And the only reason we cover this in case you have a statistics course in college or you plan to take AT Stats next year. These are very easy. Now, let's look at this. The formula for finding a binomial coefficient, I will go back to the other in just a minute, is this formula right here. I need you to write this up here. Parentheses n over r. That's the form a binomial coefficient is going to be in, equals n factorial over r factorial times n minus r factorial. That is the formula. Please write that down on page 9. Evaluate binomial coefficients. N, don't put a fraction bar, it's n over r, parentheses, equals n factorial over r factorial, parentheses, n minus r factorial. Notes, yes, I would write it somewhere next to this because that goes with a binomial coefficient.
But we write on that card.
No, you will not put this one on your card. The only thing that's going to be on your card, you've got to memorize that one, is these 4 right here. Okay? Alright, so let's look at the first one. Do you see how it looks? 6 over 2. It's very easy to remember how to do it. You put the top number on top with a factorial, the bottom number with a factorial on bottom, and subtract the 2. Now let's talk about why the answer is 15 here. If I got 6 factorial and 4 factorial here, I only need to say 6 times what? 5, because won't the 4's cancel out? So what's 6 times 5? Woo, 6 times 5, everybody. 6 times 5. Get engaged, or I'm going to get my gavel out. So you got 30. What is 2 factorial? 2 times 1, which is what? What's 30 divided by 2? 15. Okay? Why don't you, let's look here. Okay, let's look at the next one. 4 over 4. I put the numerator, 4 factorial, denominator, 4 factorial, and what's 4 minus 4? What's 4 minus 4? 0. That's why 0 is there. What happens to those 4 factorials? Cancel. So I'm left with 1 in the numerator. And what's 0 factorial equal to? What's 1 divided by 1? 1. That's the easy one. I want you to try number 3 and 4 right now. Do 3 and 4. You have another minute. Alright, check number 3. Did you get 84? Do you agree with 84? 84. 9 factorial. I will go 9 times 8 times 7 and stop there because the 6's will cancel out. Then divide by 3 times 2, which is 6. Number 4, I got 28. I would only go to 8 times 7, which is 56, divide by 2, which is 28. Are we good on our first learning target for the day? I need a hand signal. We good? You only do that when you see it in this format right here. Alright, our major learning target today is the second one, and this is what we're going to work on today and tomorrow. Is I can expand a binomial raised to a power. And what I mean by that is, if I ask you what x plus 5 to the 8th power is, instead of having to sit there and multiply x plus 5 times x plus 5 times x plus 5, there's a simpler way of doing it, okay? So that's what we're working on today, and we use Pascal's triangle to do that, okay? Now, do you see how I got a little 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and all that down the thing? You might want to do that on your chart. That corresponds to raising it to that power. Like anything raised to 0 is 1. That is why 0 is there. Raise it to the first power, that means it's going to be itself. Raise to the second power, third power, fourth power, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. This is to the 11th. If you raise something to the 11th power, guys, it would have that many terms in it. If you raise something to the 5th term, you're going to have that many terms in it. If you raise something to the 3rd power, it's going to have 4 terms in it. That corresponds to the number of terms you're going to have in there raised to a particular power. What students make, sometimes they count this as 1, but that's not 1. That is 0. 0, 1, 2, 3. And you will be able to use this on your test. The note card and this is what's the only thing on your paper out, okay? Unless you want to memorize this. That would be fun, wouldn't it? All right. So on number 5, let's look at this. I want to know what x plus 2 to the 4th is. I'm expanding this binomial, making it get larger. What power is it raised to? 4. Okay, so what you do, guys, locate the 4th power. You see this? I'm going to write those numbers down. Watch me do this. I'm going to space it out. Okay? I'm going to the 4th power. 1, 4, 6, 4, and 1. I got those numbers from this row right here. Leave some space because you got to go back and put some stuff in there. Always put plus. 1, 4, 6, 4, and 1. Are we clear on that so far? Okay. Next thing, what you're going to do, start with this variable right here, x. You see the x? Start with the power that you want, x to the 4th. You're going to put x to the 4th with the first one. Then descending order. X cubed goes here. X squared goes here. X to the 1st. X to the 0. Do you see that? I went descending order. From what I wanted, from 4 to 0. The other one, you take it and go in ascending order. I will start with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 powers. Watch this. Watch this. X to the 4th. X cubed, x squared, x to the 1st, x to the 0. Then take this one, 2 to the 0, 2 to the 1st, 2 to the 2nd, 2 cubed, and 2 to the 4th. You see what I'm talking about now? The first one, you go in descending order from the greatest to the lowest, and the other one, second one, go from the smallest ascending to that pile. Does that make sense? I got some looks right now, so you need to ask me some questions right now. Start with this one. 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. I knew to start with 4 because that's 4. Take the second one. Going up to 4. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Does that clear it up? You do that every time. Now let's simplify this. Okay, there's a question. What's up, Grayson? Where did I get what at? How do I got these numbers right here? Okay, since it's raised to the 4th power, I go to, remember, 0, 1, 2, 3. I go to here. These are the numbers I put down first. 1, 4, 6, 4, 1, and then go back and put that other. Does everybody see that? 8th grade, sorry, turn the lights off, y'all. Here we go. Alright, anything raised to 0 is what, guys? 1. So do I have to worry about that? No. What's x to the 4th times 1? X to the 4th. I'm going to mark it out. I'm done with that. Okay. What's 2 to the 1st? 2 times 4 is 8. That's going to be 8x cubed, isn't it? You're done. 2 squared is 4. 4 times 6 is 24. X squared. 2 cubed is 8. 8 times 4 is 32x. 2 to the 4th is 16. 16 times 1 is 16. And what's x raised to 0? Anything raised to 0 is what? That's your answer, what you just got here. That is the same as if you took all that and multiplied it out. So I'm going to click. Let's do another one. What power is this raised to? The 5th. So I'm going to go over here. And do you see this? This is my 5th one, isn't it? I'm going to write all those numbers down, okay? 1, 5, 10, 10, 5, 1. So 1 plus 5 plus 10 plus 10 plus 5 plus 1. I'm going to start with this first one, 2x. I'm going to raise 2x to what power? 0 or 5? 5. You start with that and go descendant order. Watch how I do this. Now, my next question to you is this. Would you think I would need to plug in y or negative y? Negative y. You will take that negative y, plug in as negative y. Do I start with 5 or 0? 0. Very good. So now I'm going to go negative y raised to 0, negative y raised to first, negative y squared, negative y cubed, negative y to the fourth, and negative y to the fifth. Take a moment to look at that, see if you have any questions. Alright, on this first one, negative y raised to 0, do I have to worry about that? That's equal to what? 1, so you don't have to worry about that. Guys, I always take care of my number coefficients first and then put my variables. 2 to the 5th is what? You should know that by heart. 32 times 1 is 32. Go back and take care of your variables now. That's going to be x to the what? 5th. Do you see that? So I'm going to mark this out. I'm done. I mark as I go because they get long and sometimes you do the same one more than once. Now let's look here. I'm going to take care of my numbers first. What's 2 to the 4th? 16 times 5 is 80. Now this is a negative 1 right here, isn't it? Negative 1 to the first would be negative 1, wouldn't it? So what's 80 times a negative 1? Negative 80. Do you see that? Let's go back through that. 2 to the 4th is 16. 16 times 5 is 80. Understood negative 1. Negative 1 to the first is negative 1. That gives me negative 80. Now go back to your variables. That's going to be x to the what? 4. And that's going to be y. What's wrong, hon? No, Mary Catherine. What's wrong, hon? And you say, Mr. Esther, once I determine this sign right here, do I have to worry about no? Once you use it that time, you might say, Mr. Esther, is that a negative y? You just took care of it with the number coefficient, okay? Next. Here we go. 10. Okay, 2 cubed is what? 8. So I got 8 times 10 is what so far? 80. That's an understood negative 1 right there, isn't it? What's negative 1 squared? Plus 1. So 80 times 1 is what? 80. Does everybody see that? 10 times 8, because 2 cubed is 8. 80 plus times that negative 1 squared is positive 1. Now your variables, that's going to be x what? Cubed and y what? Squared. That's what goes there. Okay. 10 times, what's 2 squared? 4. So 4 times 10 is 40. There's a negative 1 right here. What's negative 1 cubed? Positive or negative? So it'll be positive. Well, I put plus 40 or minus 40? Minus 40. X squared, y what? Cubed. Alright, that's 2 to the first. What's 2 times 5? 2 times 5? 10. There's a negative 1 right here. Negative 1 raised to the 4th. Would that be positive 1 or negative 1? Positive. So now I got 10 times positive 1. Would I put plus 10 or minus 10 here? Plus 10. X to the first is x. Y to the 4th. Anything raised to 0 is what, guys? That whole thing's gone. 1 times, what's a negative 1 to the 5th? Negative 1 to the 5th be positive or negative 1? Negative times a negative is a negative 1 y to the 5th, and that's my answer. We're going to do another one. It's going to click. It's going to click. You gotta be careful on your math here. because it's easy to make. There's no partial credit on this either. All right, let's look at number 7. It's raised to what power here, guys? 4. So you would go to this right here and choose this one right here. So I'm going to write those numbers down. 1 plus 4 plus 6 plus 4 plus 1. Which one I will start with? X squared or 2y? X squared. And I'm going to raise that to what power? 4 or 0? 4. Then I'm going to do x squared raised to the third, x squared raised to the second, x squared raised to the first, x squared raised to the 0. Then I'm going to go back and handle the 2y. That's positive, so I'm going to put 2y raised to what? 0. 2y raised to the first, 2y raised to the second, 2y raised to the third, 2y raised to the fourth. Okay. Anything raised to 0 is what, guys? 1. Alright, I have positive 1 here. So my number coefficient will be 1. When you have a power raised to a power, do you add or multiply? Do I add or multiply? Your pre-P, that should be automatic. What do we do? Multiply. So that's going to be x to the what? 8. And there's your understood 1 there. So I'm done with that. Okay. There's an understood 1 there. 1 cubed is what? 1. 1 times 4 is? Times is 2 to the first is 2. So what's 4 times 2? 8. X to the what? 6. Y to the first. The only numbers I have to really worry about here is 6 and 2, isn't it? Because that's a positive 1 in that parentheses, isn't it? So do I have to really worry about that? No. So what's 2 squared? 4 times 6 is 24. Now go back and take care of your variables. 2 times 2 is 4. 1 times 2 is 2. I'm done with that. I don't have to worry about the number in here. It's a positive 1. 2 cubed is 8. 8 times 4 is a positive 32. X squared, y what? Cubed. Anything raised to 0, what is that? 1. I don't have to worry about that. 1 times, what's 2 to the 4th? 16. Y to the what? And that's your answer. Let's do one more. Yes.
I'm confused about the y
Okay, what you do is you just do whatever power that's raised to and multiply by the number. Like that is 2 squared, that's 4. 4 times 6 is 24. Does that make sense? Like here, 2 cubed is 8. 8 times 4 is 32.
And then when you're done with the x, you can how do you do that?
Okay, that is an exponent raised to exponent. 2 times 4 is to the 8th. 2 times 3 is 6. 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 2 is 4. 1 times 2 is 2. 2 times 1 is 2. 1 times, you're just doing your exponent rules. Does that make sense? Let's do one more. What am I raising this one to? So what power? 3. So I go look at my 3. You would go those 4. Okay, your homework is practice this. All we're going to do is discuss this again tomorrow and test Wednesday. It's page 8, numbers. I think you already did 13 and 15, so only do 17 to 29 on it. If you already did 13 to 15. Have a good one. If you need to rewatch the video, rewatch it tonight.